Hi, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to the special Celtic Conspiracy edition of our Harpin and Rugby preview show. As you can see, I've got my jersey, which is both Irish green and Scottish blue. And joining me to look ahead to the foregone conclusion, which is Saturday evening Springbok eliminating encounter in Paris, is someone back for Cap 62. Hello to Mr. Neil Keego Keegan.
62. Wow. I don't look a day under 62. Yeah, conspiracies ahoy. Let's. I'm just off the phone there with Gregor Townsend, so we've got it all sorted.
Indeed. And just before we look at this week's match, speaking of the Springboks, so we haven't spoken to you since before we played them. How did you make of it?
Loved it. I think we needed that early in the competition. Similar to the All Blacks having France, that kind of worried me. They had that kind of combat game early in the tournament. We had that and we stood up well. Watching it back again, not a huge amount worked for us, certainly in the first kind of 30 minutes, but the lads navigated it. They never looked worried, and we kind of were able to navigate it really, really well. So not only was the result brilliant, and the nonsense coming out of South Africa shows how important that result was, the lads been able to navigate things when things are falling apart. They were looking around. They were safe. They knew where everybody was. And as we motored forward, we were starting to see that everything that we were worried about was starting to work itself out. Bomb squads, all that sort of stuff. As soon as they started bringing the bomb squad on in pieces, we knew what the story was. But just some of the tackles was insane. When you hear them in Bray and there in France, it was, you know what I mean? I love the game, but Genie Mac, some of them were tough to hear.
Absolutely. No, it was a great night in the end. It was a process going through it, but really enjoyed watching it back. Okay, so now it's time to look at our feature match of the week, which is, of course, Ireland v Scotland in Pool B of the Rugby World Cup. It's taking place in the Stade de France in Paris on Saturday, October 7th, kicking off at 8 p.m. Irish time. TV coverage in Ireland is on Virgin Media 1 and ITV1, and as ever, you can find the full listings for the weekend on harpinandrugby.com. Just click the Rugby on TV tab. Ireland named their match day 23 on Thursday afternoon. If you're watching on YouTube, it's right there in the screen, or for pod listeners, it's in the program notes. Keego is going to go over a few points for us. He's starting with possible changes in the Irish squad.
Yeah, well, again, nothing exists right now, just rumours. But if it wasn't for bad luck at Rugby World Cups, Henshaw would have no luck at all. Which is it's very worrying, because we've seen him come on and do a massive job, and he's been really supportive of the Aki Ringrose kind of pairing that's kind of stepped up. The rumours now are that the switch for Healy for him with a hamstring injury, was it a wrist or something recently, but it's a hamstring this week. Hopefully, we know he's Wolverine. Hopefully he's able to work his way through it and stay involved in the squad. Amazing that Healy be coming back. But I think if we were able to see Henshaw, obviously and Healy, but Henshaw in a knockout game of rugby, I think the competition would be better. A bit like Dupont's coming back for France. Henshaw's always value for money. He always he does a frightening amount of work, and we would miss him if he was gone. So hopefully it's just a rumor. But yeah, I'd be really, really good at if he was gone.
Yeah, I mean, it would be obviously as Leinster fans, we're talking about Healy. We've seen him. We've seen the tweets about him on his road to recovery, and that he's ready for action and stuff. And obviously it'd be a strange replacement, and might be a little harsh on Mr. Kilcoyne if Healy did get called up. But I mean, someone of Healy's experience and stuff, he would have definitely been in the squad to begin with. And if there was a way, if unfortunately Henshaw had to drop out, there's plenty of still cover there. There's Stu McCluskey. There's loads of cover for his position there already. So it would be great to add someone like Healy. So we'll see. Nothing's confirmed yet. Nothing's even been suggested yet, but it's definitely something everyone's been talking about. Okay, so your second point, you described this point yourself. War God 100 says it all.
Yeah. So listen, it's only about the green jersey. This fella, it's similar to O'Driscoll, similar to players like Ringrose, Rob Carney, all these kind of players. Paul O'Connell, the Bull. We won't fully appreciate O'Mahony until he's a couple of years out of the game, and he's gone into his garden forever and disappears and all that sort of stuff. The shift he does and has done consistently, the injuries he's come back from, and the way he protects the team, which is something I love as an older man. I've had captains who protect the team, and I really appreciate it. And he is there, obviously doing a job at an elite level still. There's plenty more caps in him. but he is there to protect that team as well. So you look at Earls, who's another one we won't appreciate enough until he's gone. He's doing the similar job. But these are guys who are more than a number on a jersey, more than a number on the cap count, more than a number on a stat from a thing sticking out the back of their jersey. He's doing a extra captain's job for the squad. So when everyone looks around, they're in the trenches, whether it's South Africa or whether it's as we go forward to the World Cup final. Yes, I said it. We need to see, and the team needs to see, people like O'Mahony ready to rock and roll, gritting their teeth, ready to push back if they need to, ready to talk to the referee if they need to. And I really think the job he's done over 100, and it will be more, caps will not be appreciated until he gets a statue in every province in this nation.
Totally agree. I've been saying it for years. You do see a lot of people sort of critique his actual game, the way he plays, and say, "Oh, there's a lot better back rows." I mean, it's not even about that. It's what he brings to the team. He's brought up the team just by being in the dressing room before the kickoff, before they even step out onto the pitch. It's his presence in the squad that brings. I think you said it there. He's like he's an extra captain out there. He's a leader, and his presence is vital. And he's more than deserved his 100th cap on Saturday night. What a time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your third point is about Irish negativity.
Yeah, I'm starting to see this creeping in again. Now, I know social media in the run up to Christmas is always a bit creepy and negative and terrible, and life and budgets next week and all that. But we're starting to creep our way back in. Permutations and combinations, all these type of things are starting to pop up again. We do not need it. We do not need any of that. Similar to when we were doing the Grand Slam games, and some of us would verbalize it and some of us wouldn't. We have the team to win this World Cup. No team wants to play Ireland. Now, does that mean we're head and shoulders above everybody else? Absolutely not. But there's a consistency there. There's a way the lads are operating that is going to bring us to the big, big game. And we have to verbalize it. We can't talk ourselves out of this. I think it's a problem that we have, I won't go on too long, in Ireland in general, whether you're working at McDonald's or you're working in, KPMG, or you're working in the Irish rugby team. For years, we would talk ourselves out of things. And that's what stops us. The whole thing about Ireland could have taken over the world if God didn't create Guinness. That's kind of basically what that is. It's talking ourselves out of it. I could have done it, but I got pissed last night. I think what we all need to do is hit a reset, okay? Social media is great because everything is on there. It's also terrible because everything is on there. We need to reset. We have a team here that our parents never saw, their parents never saw. We are in a magical time period over this last kind of 10, 15 years. It's been magic, and it's been leading up. It's been building. Through the heartbreak, it's been building. Let's not be negative. Let's be realistic. Let's not be stupid, but let's be realistic. We have a team here that's been built to win this World Cup. Scotland are going to try and derail us. If we play to our optimum, or even let's say 80%, 75, 80%, we're going to put points on this team. But we have to be logical, realistic, and not let that Irish negativity creep into us. I know we've generations of it. Let's just be a new generation of positive people.
No, absolutely. I mean, I found myself, because we had 2 weeks before today, we had the extra weekend off. You find yourself going through the whole process of, oh my God, we could lose this and actually go out before the quarterfinals and all this stuff. You're seeing the permutations, but I think because it was 2 weeks, I managed to get myself to a place where I saw the positives, because I think the knockout aspect of this, the possible knockout aspect of this, is a good thing. We've had the pool matches. We've been through the round robin phase. You can see this maybe as a last 16 match and look at it that way. And it's just what the team needs. It justifies the starting lineup, which is very close to what we've seen. It's very close to our best team. You see Jack Conan coming in on the bench there for Ryan Baird. It's tough on Baird, but it's good for Conan to be getting a shout. We're also going to the outer reaches of the squad as well. Stu McCluskey coming in, getting a spot, much deserved spot on the bench there as well, and it gives us better options in our midfield throughout the game. James Ryan, there was doubts about him during the week starting. There was some issue with his hand, I think it was, and the thinking maybe is that he's on the bench. He's able to play, but because Henderson and Byrne were training together during the week, it's probably best to keep them together, which makes perfect sense to me. And what a sub to have to bring on with 20 minutes to go. So overall, it's a really good Irish team, and it's good to see them putting their best team out against the Scots.
Spot on. I just think, yeah, I kind of just everything about it is positive. You know what I mean? Like we've had the problem, like you say, when you have your 2 weeks to sit there and thinking doesn't suit the Irish brain, but this is all positive. The team is positive. Let's just roll forward.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look at those Scots now. They named their team yesterday as well. What do you make of it?
Yeah, look, it's interesting they left out Healy. Healy's not in the squad at all. I think, didn't he start during the week?
Yeah.
Or last week? Yeah. So it's interesting that they didn't.
They went for a 6-2 bench. So I think Horn can play a bit of out half as well. So that's what they're thinking. They needed that extra beef. Not quite a 7-1 bench, but it's the next best thing.
But like, if you think about it, if you start where we always start, if you're picking one team off the starting 15, there's not a lot of blue that's going to get on that squad. No, I do think they're going to plan on hopefully a bit of Finn Russell magic. A couple of guys talking during the week were saying, like, do you push up and press him, or do you just let him see what happens? You know what I mean? Because if he's playing with freedom and everybody else doesn't know what he's doing, it's a bit like Dupont sometimes in France. He sees something half a second before everybody else, and the opposition have a chance to kind of reset off of Dupont or Russell, as opposed to looking around the pitch. So those type of things will be interesting to see how they work the game. But look, they're picking their best team. Van der Merwe is always great to watch on the wing, but skill for skill, beef for beef, we have this team, and it's a matter of being professional, hitting all the simple stuff like the lineouts and things in the last game. We need to have that hitting. We need to, because once we get that back on side, there's very little for opposition to pick through. South Africa, obviously, you've got Expert and the other second rower there. They just throw them up and frighten the hooker. It's easy. I was frightened on the couch watching it. Scotland don't have that. They've Gray there, who's good operator, but putting in Hendo, putting in Byrne right there in the middle, and there's a couple of back rows who can jump and throw as well. Means that there's a lot of weapons in our line out, and I do think Scotland will go for it. I think they'll throw Gray up as often as they can just to get that big mop ahead in distracting Sheehan. But I think we got it. I think they're going to try and do what they're going to try and do. They're going to hope there's a bit of magic there. But there's no Debbie McGee here for Finn Russell's Paul Daniels.
Yeah, absolutely. There's like you say, there's plenty of options there. They've got a great center pairing in Tuipulotu and Jones. They've got and they got Finn Russell. They got Darcy Graham, who's a good link up for Russell. If he finds his space, he can get it to him on the wing. And of course, they got Van der Merwe powering up the middle. But like you often say, you put the two teams together and you try to make one match day 23. They're going to be mostly green jerseys when you match them up against each other, and then you add the whole cohesion as well together as well. If Ireland plays the way if Ireland play the way they can, it's not going to be easier for the Scots, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the officials, who, as you can see, there are Nick Berry holding the whistle and Wayne Barnes among the assistants. And that brings us to the weather. Now, last time against South Africa, I said it was perfect weather conditions, but I think it's gotten even better for this one. It's 14 degrees, clear, little or no wind, and apparently 0% chance of rain. I mean, you literally couldn't ask better than that for a rugby match. So that's that. And now we're just going to of course, a whole lot of other World Cup matches this weekend. Yep. Which one of all the others caught your eye the most?
Yeah, anytime you can watch Japan is a good time, and Japan are playing Argentina, another of our bogey teams that we may meet down the line. I actually really enjoy watching both of them play. I did think Argentina were a dark horse coming in based on the games in the run-up, but they obviously haven't performed. There's a performance in them there. So that's going to be fun, and that's it's an early game as well. The 8 p.m. kickoffs for Ireland are tough. It's tough to get the green light to go out of the house at that late at night, knowing the time we're going to come back. So Japan, Argentina, I think is lunchtime on the Sunday, so that's going to be good fun. I'll be watching that one.
Perfect. Okay, so now it's time for our prediction. Now, of course, all of us who have been on the Celtic Conspiracy Zoom calls throughout the week, we all know that the actual result on Saturday is going to be the only one that eliminates South Africa. So that's namely a Scottish win by 21 points, a try bonus point for Ireland, no more or less than 7 scrums in the entire match, and finally, Andrew Porter's ear has to start bleeding by the 12th minute of the first half. So all those things are going to happen. But just to provide cover for the conspiracy, Keego, you should probably offer a prediction anyway.
So I think it's funny you say the permutations in the meetings we were having is plus 21 for Scotland. I think it's that for Ireland. I do think there is that much of a difference, and I think that the class is going to be found out. I think I do want a really, really good start, and I really do want the foot to be put down early. It's plus 21 for us.
Okay, very good. And of course, also on a separate note, just best of luck to Leinster, who are playing a preseason friendly against Castra. It kicks off at 5 p.m. on Saturday at the Stade Pierre Fabre. The team was announced just before we started recording, so that too is in the program notes. Unfortunately, as of now, we don't think the match is being streamed online, so have to follow by social media. But one last thing, if you go one back in our podcast feed, you'll find a bonus pod where I got fans from all 4 provinces to look at their own squads ahead of the URC kickoff. So maybe have a listen to that while you're keeping tabs on the boys in blue. Okay, so before we wrap things up, Keego, what stand-up gigs have you got lined up down the road?
Oh yeah, so tonight as we record this, I'm heading to beautiful, glamorous Mullingar.
Friday night.
Headlining. Oh, I tell you, Friday night in Mullingar, you can't beat it. So in the Columbia Comedy Club there, which is great. And then Sunday we're in the International in Dublin, and then we're in the run-in to the big show on Friday the 13th next week. So gigging here in Bray on the next Wednesday, supporting Joe Rooney, Father Damo and Father Ted in the Mermaid here in Bray next Thursday. And then next Friday, hope to see absolutely everyone in. We've got 9 tickets left for next Friday. So get your names on those tickets. It's in Crowbar in the middle of town. So KeegoLaughs.com for all that stuff.
Brilliant stuff. And of course, you'll find those links in the program notes. Okay, well, many thanks to Keego for harping, and also to you for tuning into our latest preview show. Enjoy the match wherever you are, and be sure to follow us all on the usual social media channels. We will, of course, have a wrap pod for you recording on Sunday evening. Hopefully, you'll help us out by liking, sharing, and subscribing. In the meantime, stay safe, everyone. Slán.